You see the perfect report card on the fridge. All A's. You should feel proud, but instead, there's a quiet anxiety in the back of your mind. You look at the world, how fast it's changing, and you ask yourself a question that haunts so many parents. Am I truly preparing my child for the real world? Or am I just preparing them for the next test? What happens when they face a problem that doesn't have a neat answer in a textbook? In this video, I'm going to reveal the single most important future-proof skill your child isn't learning in school. And I'll give you the exact words and methods to start teaching it tonight. But be careful, because many loving parents, with the best intentions, make one common mistake that actively crushes this skill without even realizing it. The skill we're talking about is resilience. More specifically, it's the ability to embrace and learn from failure. Our school system, for the most part, is built on a foundation of right and wrong answers. A red X on a paper sends a clear message: you made a mistake, and that is bad. This unintentionally teaches children to fear failure. They learn to play it safe, to only try things they know they can succeed at. This creates brilliant test takers, but fragile human beings. Now, let me be clear. This is not your fault. You are working within a system. It's a normal part of our culture to praise success and shy away from mistakes. But the good news is, you hold all the power to change this narrative within the walls of your own home. You can create a safe space where mistakes are not the end, but the beginning of learning. The very first, and perhaps most powerful step, is to completely change how your family talks about failure. The word itself is loaded with shame, finality, and disappointment. It shuts down learning. So starting today, we are banishing the word failure and replacing it with phrases that open up possibilities. Think of them as learning attempts, first drafts, or data points. This is not just a cute word game. It is a fundamental psychological shift that rewires your child's brain for resilience. It communicates that an outcome is not a final judgment on their intelligence or their worth, but simply information for the next try. So when your child comes home with a test they did not do well on, instead of asking, "Why did you fail?" Try this. You take a breath and say, "Okay, I see this was a tricky test. Let's call this our first attempt at mastering this topic. What did we learn from this attempt that will help us on our next one?" You instantly become their coach, not their judge. Now that we've changed the language, the next step is to change what we praise. Many of us were raised to praise results. "You're so smart for getting an A," or "You're a natural artist." While this feels good, child psychologists have found it can be harmful. It links a child's identity to their performance. If they get a B, they think, "I'm not smart." Instead, we must start praising the process. Praise their effort, their strategies, their perseverance, their courage to try something difficult. This builds a robust sense of self that is not dependent on external validation. For example, your child spends an hour building a complex Lego tower. Instead of just saying, "Wow, what a great tower," you say this: "I watched you work on this for an hour. You were so focused. I saw you try 3 different ways to make that bridge stable. Your persistence is incredible." Now, their accomplishment is not the tower itself, but the strength they showed in building it. This leads us to our third point, which can feel a bit vulnerable for parents. You have to model this behavior yourself. Children learn more from what we do than from what we say. If you want them to be open about their mistakes, you need to be open about yours. This demystifies failure and makes it a normal, non-scary part of life. Make it a regular practice to share your own learning attempts from your day. This could be at the dinner table or on the drive home from school. It does not have to be a monumental mistake. It can be small. You could say, "You know, I tried a new route to work today, thinking it would be faster, but I got stuck in terrible traffic. It was a frustrating attempt. But I learned that I should stick to our usual way in the morning." By sharing this, you are teaching them that everyone, even their seemingly perfect parent, makes mistakes. And more importantly, you are showing them that life goes on and we just learn something new. Our fourth tool is a tiny 3-letter word that can transform your child's entire mindset. The word is yet. This simple word, introduced by psychologist Carol Dweck, builds a bridge from I can't to I can. It reframes a challenge from a permanent roadblock into a temporary state. When your child is struggling with their shoelaces, frustrated, and says, I can't do it, it's a statement of defeat. Your job is to gently add the magic word. You can reply with, you are so close, you just can't do it yet. Or, that is a tricky knot, we haven't figured it out yet. What if we try looping it this way? This small addition changes the entire emotional tone. It implies that success is inevitable with more time and practice. It teaches them that abilities are not fixed, but are grown and developed over time. I'm not good at math becomes, I'm not good at math yet. When a mistake happens, like a spilled glass of milk or a broken toy, our instinct is often to ask a blaming question. Why did you do that? Or what were you thinking? These questions put a child on the defensive and focus on the past. Our fifth strategy is to shift to asking learning questions. These questions are forward-facing and collaborative. They invite your child to become a problem solver instead of a culprit. It transforms them into a scientist analyzing an experiment. So the glass of milk spills. Instead of an exasperated, "Why are you so clumsy?" you could say, "Uh-oh, that was a big spill. It happens. What do you think we could do differently next time to keep the cup more stable?" Or if a toy breaks, instead of, "I told you to be careful," try, "That's a shame it broke. Let's be detectives. What part do you think was the weak spot? How could we build it stronger if we were the toy designers?" This brings us to a crucial environmental factor. You need to explicitly create what I call a failure is okay zone in your home. It's not enough to just say these things when mistakes happen. You have to build a culture where trying and failing is celebrated as an act of courage. This means being mindful of your non-verbal reactions. A deep sigh, an eye roll, a tense jaw. These can say more than your words. You can create a family motto or a sign for the wall, something like, "In this family, mistakes are proof that we are trying." You can even state it directly to your child during a calm moment. You could say, "I want you to know something really important. In our family, it is 100% okay to make mistakes. The only thing I ask is that we try to learn from them. Your job is to be brave and try new things, and my job is to help you when you stumble." Our seventh point is a subtle but critical shift in focus. Prioritize strategy over supposed innate ability. When a child struggles, they often internalize it as a personal flaw. "I'm just bad at this." Our job is to externalize the problem and frame it as a search for the right strategy. This empowers them by giving them a sense of control. The problem isn't them. The problem is that they haven't found the right key to unlock it yet. For instance, if they're struggling with spelling words, avoid saying, "You need to try harder." Instead, focus on the strategy. You can say, "Okay, the strategy of just reading the word over and over isn't sticking. That is fine. Let's try a new one. What if we try writing the word in sand? Or maybe we can make up a silly song for it." There isn't one right way to learn. There are many strategies we can test. This teaches them to be flexible, creative problem solvers for life. A huge part of resilience is learning to manage the powerful emotions that come with setbacks. It is okay and completely normal to feel frustrated, angry, or sad when things do not go our way. Our eighth tip is to validate the emotion first, before jumping into problem solving. If we skip this step, the child feels unheard and can't access the logical part of their brain. So, when your child is on the verge of a meltdown because their drawing isn't perfect, your first step is to connect. Get down on their level and say, "I can see you are so frustrated with this drawing right now. It is really disappointing when what is in your head doesn't appear on the paper just right. I get it. Pause and let that sink in. Once they feel seen, you can then gently move to the next step. Do you want to take a few deep breaths with me? And then we can decide what to do next. We can try again, or we can put it away for today. If you are teaching them how to ride the wave of emotion without letting it crash. Our 9th strategy is another one that relies on your modeling. You must model curiosity in the face of the unknown. Many children develop a fear of new challenges because they are afraid of looking foolish or not knowing the answer immediately. You can combat this by thinking out loud when you face something new. Let them see your process. For example, you buy a new piece of furniture that needs to be assembled. Instead of getting quietly stressed, narrate your process with a positive, curious attitude. You can say out loud, "Wow, look at all these pieces. I have absolutely no idea how this fits together right now. This is going to be a fun puzzle to solve." Okay, the instructions say the first step is to find part A. Let's be a team and hunt for part A. You are demonstrating that it is okay not to know. The starting point is not knowing. The fun is in the process of figuring it out. And finally, our 10th tip is to make learning from mistakes an active and even fun part of your family's daily life. I call this celebrating glorious goofs. The goal is to make mistakes so normal that they lose all of their negative power. You can make this a ritual, perhaps at the dinner table. You can start by saying, "All right, who has a glorious goof to share from their day to day? A moment where something didn't go as planned, but you learned something interesting?" And you must go first. You could say, "My glorious goof was that I confidently walked into the wrong meeting at work. I was so embarrassed for a second, but then I got to meet some new people, and we all had a good laugh. I learned to double-check my calendar." By laughing together at these moments, you strip them of their shame and reframe them as valuable and sometimes funny life experiences. You are building a family legacy of resilience. So, to sum it all up, the greatest skill you can give your child is not the ability to always get the right answer, but the courage to handle the wrong one. By reframing failure, praising the process, sharing your own struggles, and using these simple tools, you are giving them a psychological armor that will protect them for life. You are preparing them for the real world. Please remember, this is not about being a perfect parent. It is about being an intentional one. You are a good parent for simply watching this and wanting the best for your child. You have got this. If this video was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tips to help you raise amazing kids. And now, I have a question for you. What's one failure from your own life that you're now proud of because of what it taught you? Share it in the comments below. Let's learn from each other.